Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to a new session in online physiology. Today we are going to discuss the very basics of membrane physiology well before we go on to discuss the skeletal muscle contraction. To begin with, all the cells in the body, you have taken one such cell for reference here, all the cells in the body are bathed in the extracellular fluid, and we have a certain fluid within the cells as well we call intracellular fluid. However, if we talk about their composition, there is a great variation in the composition of the intracellular and extracellular fluids. For example, we have a very high sodium concentration here in the extracellular fluid, approaching about 135 to 145 millimoles per liter. However, the intracellular concentration of sodium is very low. It is hardly 10 millimoles per liter. Okay. Likewise, we have a very high concentration of chloride ions in the extracellular fluid with a level of almost 100 to 110 millimoles per liter. In contrast, we have a very high level of potassium within the cells with a level that is almost 140 milliequivalents per liter. Okay. Now, if we talk about the transport of these ions across the cell membrane, here comes the rule number 1. Flow is always along a concentration gradient. That is, sodium due to its high concentration in the extracellular fluid will tend to move into the cells under appropriate circumstances. Okay. Similarly, potassium due to its high concentration within the cells will tend to move outwards into the extracellular fluid. But here we have one problem. The cell membrane is freely permeable to water, but it doesn't exhibit free permeability to most of these ions, sodium, potassium and chloride ions in particular. And here we have the rule number 2. Okay? We have specific channels in the cell membrane for the transport of sodium, potassium and chloride ions, and those channels open and close during specific circumstances. They do not stay open or closed all the time. Okay? Under resting conditions, when the cell is inactive, that is the non-excited state, the potassium channels here in the cell membrane are quite leaky as compared to the sodium channels, so that there is continuous leak of potassium ions through the potassium channels into the extracellular fluid. And each time we lose a potassium ion, since it is a positively charged particle, each time we lose a potassium ion through the leaky potassium channels, the inside of the cell membrane becomes bit negative. Okay. At the same time, we have the sodium potassium ATPase pump here in the cell membrane. Okay. Each time it operates, it pumps 3 sodium ions out of the cell, and in exchange it pumps 2 potassium ions into the cell. So even though it helps concentrate potassium within the cell, but if we talk about the proportions of this exchange, each time it operates, we lose one positively charged particle, so thereby increasing the negativity inside the cell membrane even more. Okay? So under resting conditions, mainly due to the leaky potassium channels and partly due to the sodium potassium ATPase pump, the inside of the cell membrane is a bit more negative as compared to its outer surface, and we call it resting membrane potential. And here in the case of skeletal muscle fibers, the resting membrane potential is minus 80 to minus 90 millivolts. Okay. Here we have the rule number 3. Okay. That is, the transport of these ions across the cell membrane through those specific channels, the potassium and sodium channels, is not absolute. Okay. There are certain limits. For example, each time a potassium ion moves out of the cell through the leaky potassium channel, there is buildup of negativity inside the cell. Okay. At a certain critical level, this negativity inside the cell membrane rises to such a critical level that in itself blocks the further outflow of potassium ions through the potassium channels. and this is what we call the Nernst potential. We used to pronounce it like Nernst potential, but since it is a German word, the correct pronunciation is perhaps Nernst potential. Okay, and in the case of potassium ions, the Nernst potential is minus 94 millivolts. Okay, that is, the potassium ions can leak or move outward through the leaky potassium channels till the membrane potential reaches this critical level. Okay, so at this critical level, even though the concentration gradient is still there, no more potassium ions can leave the cell. Okay, so this critical membrane potential, which blocks the further outflow of an ion across the cell membrane, is what we call Nernst potential, and for potassium it is minus 94 millivolts. Similarly, if the sodium channels are open, sodium, owing to its high concentration here in the extracellular fluid, will tend to move into the cell, and each time a sodium ion moves into the cell, there is a buildup of more and more positive ions inside the cell membrane. At a certain critical level, even though the concentration gradient will still be there, at a certain critical level, no more sodium ions can move into the cell, and that Nernst potential for sodium ions is plus 61 millivolts. That is, sodium can move in till the membrane potential here is plus 61 millivolts. At that critical level, even though the concentration gradient will still be there, no more sodium ions will be able to move into the cell. So the Nernst potential in a way is a defiance of the rule number 2. The concentration gradient allows the transport, but the membrane potential that develops as a result of that transport inhibits further outflow or inflow of an ion. Okay. At this point, I would like to add one more thing. Under resting condition, when the cells are inactive or the non-excited state, the inside of the membrane is a bit more negative as compared to its outer surface. That is, there is a certain polarity across the cell membrane. We call this state hyperpolarization. Now, to activate the cells, we need to reverse this polarity across the cell membrane, and this is what we call depolarization. Now, the cells, how actually the cells accomplish this reversal of polarity or depolarization, we will discuss in a while shortly.